Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Juro. It is Tuesday, the 13th of September, 2017. How is everybody doing? There's a lot that has occurred in these last 15 days. First of all, let me throw this out there. My heart and prayers go out to those that were affected by first Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma down in Florida, as well as any person that hears my voice that has family, friends, and those that you are connected to by blood and bone, by association of these last events. Let me tell you this right off the bat. Stay prayed up. No matter what is being presented in front of you, stay prayed up. You're not going to have a lot of people go where they should, which is within themselves. And that is what's required most. Yes, I know that there are going to be countless people live streaming and having opinions, and you're entitled to that. Just as much as you will see celebration of bad behavior and those of humanity, compassion, and empathy will be overlooked, overshadowed. But that's okay. Because just know all is seen, all is recorded, because we're talking about your life. There's only one. And since we're talking about your life, we're talking about your purpose, what matters most. Who am I talking to right now? Right now, there are 1,001 distractions, attempts for your time to focus on the things that don't matter. But the one thing that has been validated and will be true is the fact that you woke up. You woke up. Therefore, that means there is work still required for you to do it. So don't worry. Don't worry if you ain't heard from Bobby Sue and Little Man and Little Larry because they ain't checked up on you. It's not their responsibility to do that. And I know somebody's saying, well, why, Gerald? Those are my friends. This is the person I'm connected to emotionally. This may be the person that shares the same space where I work. Why aren't they checking on me? Because to do so, that means you must take care of what's required for you. So we're talking time management, family. If anything, time is money. So how you manage your day is started how you wake up. So take a second to give thanks that you were able to wake up, that your limbs respond to that beautiful mind. that you're able to feel the sensitivity of each nerve ending in your body that is involuntarily doing its job. So if it's doing its job, referring to your temple, then you got something more sacred to do collectively. If you're waiting around for validation, if you're waiting around for approval, you'll be waiting for a long time. Don't do yourself a disservice. Just like the classic song by the group Soul to Soul, keep on moving. Don't stop. Keep on moving. You got work to do. I know somebody right now saying, Gerald, listen, I know you mean well, but the reality is my outlook on what is applied to my life, the skies are gray. Let me tell you something. Maybe now you'll finally give yourself permission. That's right, give yourself permission to acknowledge that God exists. Because right now, all you're seeing is the work of the beast. Yeah, you know that line in the brush? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the work is going on. See, the moment that you took your first breath, there was a seal placed over your life. There was a decision that your life story, you know, that hash mark that will be found on your headstone. You look at the hash mark of someone's tombstone, it's about 2 inches. How is 2 inches to reflect on your whole life? It's represented by the person that's rested. It's represented by the person who has not done. For those, the select few, the intended heart and mind. At the end of the day, nobody can make you do what you don't want to do. So give yourself permission to claim your life back. Who am I talking to? Because right now, I'm going to tell you what, there are countless, millions of things waiting for your time. So the question I ask you is this: how does that make it productive? How does it benefit you? Because trust when I tell you this. Shortcuts only cut your life short. Did you hear me? But you're not going to hear them talk about that. Because at the end of the day, what is left undone, someone's going to find a way to benefit. Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted to share this with somebody because I know that right now, the outlook, you're scared. You're scared. Let me tell you something. Congratulations. You're acknowledging your emotions. Maybe that's something finally now that may have been buried because of what's been going on socially. You are at your tipping point, your breaking point. And there was always a saying, pressure busts the pipe, but preparation makes it last. This ain't nothing. If anything, everything that has been chronicalized, no matter how authentic the source, it's meant for you at this moment to take note, to critically think. That's something we don't do these days. We look at things for face value and take it as gospel. Whose gospel? Man's? When all along God has been telling man, I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the great I am. Nothing before me nor after me shall last. Let me tell you something. If your circle is not a reflection of your progressiveness, that ain't where you're supposed to be. I don't care how the box may look with the pretty trimmings on it and the fragrance that may come from it. That is not the environment you're supposed to be in. That is your distraction. And I understand when it comes to the affairs of the heart, we want what we want. You may have come from a situation that it seemed that where you were 6 months ago was hell on earth. And where you are seems like it is firm ground. But I'm here to tell you this. Is God in that? Because what you may not be realizing is you may be set up for the clip down the road. That person may be the person that is standing in the way of where you intend to be. How about the person that's going to earn the right to take on the responsibility of your heart? Let's talk about that. See, anybody can lay down. But when times get real, will they stand up? Are you standing on what you believe in? If anything, do what you believe in, does it reflect your projection of where you're going? You do understand that everything that has gone on within a 15-day span. 15 days, family. 15 days ago, we were watching the media barrage us with condescending tactics of separation, all for a story. We were focusing on inanimate objects such as statues, right? But yet no one talked about the fact that no matter what the sentiment of what it represented, that is still history. And there's a reason why I'm pointing this out, and I'm going to bring you to where you are now. See, I had the pleasure when I served in the United States Air Force. That's right. I spent 9 years, almost 10 years in Germany. And what I learned when I was there, because I did 2 tours, was the fact that, number one, don't believe the hype of what the media wants to tell you. And it matters not if your boots are not on the ground to learn it for yourself. And while I was there, I befriended a lot of people. And I had the pleasure of enhancing my growth as a man. Because I had a couple relationships that I was at. I almost got married. But the blessing was that would not come to pass. But while I was in that journey, with that connection, that person educated me. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people don't know. See, you got a lot of grown adults doing little girl and little boy tactics under the umbrella of division. And it doesn't matter the culture. Because trust and believe, there's somebody that look like you that share the same sentiment, but they won't stand on it. There's a lot of people that will tell you, well, even though we were separated, things were better because we were separated. But there was still dirt going on. Yes, it was. It was just nothing but a hierarchy going on. That's why you have in cities, you still have aldermans, and you still have the structure of the city council, and you have delegates to represent where you live, because it comes from this structure. But the one thing that I realized while I was there in my 20s, because I had to ask, how much of an impact did Adolf Hitler have on the country as a whole based on today? And the one thing that the person told me that I was involved with, she said, Gerald, let me tell you something. Number one, it's against the law to come out publicly with that swastika or make any type of reference to that dark time in our country. But more importantly, that is a wound. That is a wound that will not heal. And that is that's a timestamp that, granted, those who lived that in their 20s, that were the elders and the younger generations coming from within, from them. The one thing that was not promoted was hatred. But the one thing they did not do is turn their back on what took place. That was, from a country standpoint, a shame. That was a motivation on what not to do in the future. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to find that out for myself a little more in depth. And I went to Berlin several times. And I trekked through there when I wasn't, on my days off, when I wasn't, scheduled to work, as an active duty member. I wanted to know. I wanted to know everything about that country. And yes, granted, the one commonality that I saw was this. The women were more fond of us, the American GI. Yes, they were fond of the black GI too, more so, because the fact that they could relate to what was going on here at home. But what I found so intriguing is most Germans know more about African culture, African American culture, Black history than we do here. And I never forgot that. And some of the things that we see going on today is the same thing that I saw almost 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. No, you didn't see people openly that were in alternative relationships like that. But granted, the women, it was common that the women, when they went out, they went together. They partied together. It wasn't, you would even see them holding their hand. They hold hands together. And at first you were like, well, are they lesbian? Like, nah, that's just how they are. That was the buddy system, because you still have people out there snatching, still out there raping, still out there murdering. I was stationed right in Frankfurt, you know. So 25 years later, after the boots have been taken off, the uniform has been taken off, to see what is going on here in our beloved United States, it makes me scratch my head because I've seen this before. But if you're going to tell it correctly. So when I see these guys out here flying flags that don't represent them and trying to embrace an ideology that they don't understand, they're taking bits and pieces off of it. You couldn't do what you're doing in the States now over there. They would drag you in the street and beat you down. That's how they were. That's how they get. That's a zero tolerance perspective. But then you have some that will want to hold on and basically tell you, I don't want you to know your history, because if you know your history, then you'll know what to look for. And I can't indoctrinate you into another ideology too. So when I see people wanting to tear down statues, you're basically saying tear down your history. But this doesn't surprise me, because in a town near you, in a city near you, in a state near you, you don't hear them talking about this, but they're also closing your libraries too. And what is found in your libraries? Your history. So if that is lost, who is going to be the torchbearer for that? Where is going to be the marker on what has happened? Because the one thing about history is this. I believe that is God's way of telling man, did you learn? Do you understand what I'm showing you? Because if you don't learn, you're going to see it again. And that's what's going down, family. But what I found really intriguing was this. That opens a door for any person to basically say, hey, I find offense in this, and because I don't like it, or because the fact I don't want to respect that position, it's got to be removed. So what's next? We're going to start taking down uh, religious symbolism now, because you do also know that there are plenty of people that don't believe in God, that want that. That's like a splinter to them. They want you to remove that. Oh yeah, they're doing that, and that ain't nothing but blasphemous all day. But you don't hear nobody talking about that because there's no money connected to that. But actually, it is. There's actually money connected to it, because maybe y'all don't realize this, and I'm going to get off of this one point. You do understand your tax dollars is paying for an operator that has to put their butt in that vehicle to remove it. And you don't have a say in that, but your taxes do. Why aren't we saying something about that? Hmm? Your tax dollars paying for that. When in actuality, your tax dollars should go to what matters most. How about investment of those who are going to come behind you? What about their history, their education? Shouldn't it be, as an adult, your responsibility to prepare them for the life that we are going to leave them, the life that they're going to inherit? Because we already know the things that we refuse to look at the things that we fail to learn from, those are going to be the same things that will be the challenges that they will face. And if they're not able to critically think, they will become victims of it. Now, at the end of the day, it's your life. Don't you deserve to be happy? Don't you deserve to feel emotionally safe? Don't you deserve to ensure that your legacy, for what you stand for, matters? Because at the end of the day, nobody can tell your story. It's your responsibility how it will be told. Not everybody is going to earn the right to know your story. Not everybody's going to earn the right to know your dreams. Not everybody's going to earn the right to hear you breathe. So you got to make a choice. Because let me tell you something. I know you don't want to hear this, but I say this with love. You are what you attract. And your state of mind is a reflection of your reality. So if you don't like the reality that you see outside your door, change the way you see it. Stand on that. Especially if you're a man. It's your last name, family. Let's not shy away from that. You can have all the kids you want. It matters not if you're not able to stand on who you are. The little boy that lives in you still. And I know there's countless people that want to discredit you, to get you to see things a certain way, to get you to act a certain way. But at the end of the day, let me tell you something. Until you make a declaration to yourself to love yourself more, it matters not. You're actually benefiting those that will use those same tactics against you. I told you, an opportunist does not need your help to expose themselves. But what is required that you have the courage to acknowledge what is being shown. You think you're supposed to be the doormat? You think you're supposed to be the victim? Huh? You think that everything that you've gone through thus far has no merit? Let me tell you something. Some of y'all will come to understand that those lessons that you went through were really preparations of who you're going to be. Who am I talking to? Those were lessons that you had to go through because you're going to see it again. Oh, yeah. You didn't know that? I know somebody's right now saying, well, Gerald, I've been molested. I've been sexually assaulted. I never thought in a million years that the person that last name I took was going to end up being my abuser. Okay. Number one, you got to forgive yourself. When you decide to forgive yourself, those soul ties will fall. Them chains will be broken from you. Because until you decide to do that, guess what? They don't have to be next to you. They control you. They're in your thoughts. If you're spending more time doing this, looking at your phone, feeling a certain kind of way, instead of putting that smile back on your face, and that's going to take some time. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start to think about the things that you did before it occurred. And accountability is going to be put there. But I understand. I understand somebody saying, Gerald, that person took advantage of me. How am I supposed to take accountability of that? This is where that brutal line of truth has to be acknowledged. Do you remember what occurred before? Do you remember what you felt afterward? What role did you play in that? And the reason I'm saying this, because I'm not condoning. First of all, let me make this straight because people are going to pick and choose and select what they think they hear, and they're going to miss my point. What I'm referring to is this. If those things occurred, your one indiscretion was saying hello, and the events played out. I keep trying to tell you, opportunists don't need your help. Because guess what? That hello, they didn't already figured you out. They already see the potential of who you are. And as long as you give them access, they're taking mental notes of what you will and what you won't do. So you got to love yourself more. But I'm going to go a little deeper and jump off of it. You also know why everything occurred the way it did. First of all, look at where you are now. You're alive. So let's not lowball that. You're alive. Number two, you're not there in regards to that moment. So there has been progression. Because if that was to be your reality, it would still be going on. You ain't there. They might not even be in your life, but let me tell you something. All things done are all things that will be accounted for in the intended time and moment. So if you're walking around with hate in your heart, you're just fueling their development. That's what the devil wants you to do. He want he wants you because guess what? He gets a 2-for-1 deal. That's what he gets. And I know it's going to be hard. I know it is. You may be in that position where you're saying, Joe, I'm tired of going to bed by myself. I got that secret drawer that looked like Home Depot. And I long for the touch of someone that's going to love me. Somebody laughing right now. I feel your energy. But guess what? The person that is intended to be in your life is being made new right now. But they cannot have entry into your life until you start to love yourself. You want validation? Let me give it to you. I've been saying this for over 5 years. You listen to the song that Mary got out there on the radio now? Listen to those lyrics. She's telling you. She's telling you what it is. And I know socially, my queens, society wants you to have the mentality of a man and juggle being a woman. Notice I didn't say lady. And what do you get? you get not what you want, and you can't see what you need. So that's why maybe now you're gonna be just. It's okay to focus on the little girl or the little boy that's inside you. Because I'm gonna tell you what, let's not negate this. The people that have your best interest are the people that genuinely love you. And if they genuinely love you, they're gonna support your development. So if that means you gotta go off the grid, guess what? That love is still there. That conversation will pick up just as it was when you had it. But those people that only want to come into your life to play with your life, oh, they're going to fall off like dandruff. And you'll see it. When you decide to focus on you, you'll start to see why their intention and their agenda was to begin with. Oh, you're not focusing on me like that? Oh, I can't get you to go to ATM like that? I can't get you to go to the club and pay for everything like that? Oh, okay. Don't worry. They like Lay's potato chips. They'll make more. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to gravitate to the people that are doing it. Just as quick as they came in your life, just as quick as they're going to leave it. So don't wait for validation. Don't wait for that I'm sorry. Don't wait for that in your mind, that sentiment that is long overdue, because you ain't getting it. You're not going to get it. And I say this with love. You know why? Because until they do it for themselves, can they give it to you? We are what we attract, family. So let's bring it back. I believe now, with everything that went on, God is in the sifting room. I've echoed this. I've always echoed this to you. And I believe one of the greatest examples that God is giving, bestowing the man is this. As the passage goes, those who are last will be made first, and those who are first will be made last. And the lesson of gluttony, shallowness, selfishness, envy, all these destructive traits are being brought into review. And my hearts go out to those who have been directly impacted. Don't get it twisted. But the fact of the matter is, there was somebody. Didn't matter if they prepared or not, because what have I always told y'all? We are in the season of the ant and the grasshopper. The grasshopper, all the grasshopper did was play. Didn't take his life serious. And the seasons changed. That ant didn't get no love. Nobody was checking for that ant. But that ant had a purpose. And that ant was diligent. And that ant basically valued and measured its time. So when the seasons changed, God passed over him. He was safe. He was prepared. But that grasshopper ultimately paid with its life. When we're talking about your legacy, family, this won't be the last hurricane we're gonna see. There are plenty of people that can run them back. How many of y'all forgot about Hurricane George? How about Hurricane Isabel? How about Hugo? Huh? Some of those were right even before your time, millennials, I know. But they occurred. So the point I'm trying to make is this. No matter what the distraction, no matter what the delay is, let your setback be your setup. Who am I talking to? Stop tripping on who calling you, who you ain't heard from. But I will say this, don't let your pride impact your ego. Don't have a position of, I ain't heard from them, so I ain't going to talk to them, especially if that is your family members. You ain't so busy that you can't pick that phone up. That's the one thing about texting that I find very disrespectful, because anybody can blurt out letters on a screen and send it out. But the one thing that that screen can't do is give the right emotion that goes with it. You know how powerful a hello goes? You know how impactful I love you carries? Huh? But I get it, because some of y'all have gotten conditioned that you can't even tell yourself that. But look at your relationships. Do they not reflect the same thing back? Energy out is energy return. So I find it kind of ironic, but humbling in the same moment. Because guess what? On a sad note, don't think for 1 second that people didn't make some money off of this hurricane. Oh, there was some money made. Mm-hmm. I told you that. And it ain't about I told you so, but I've echoed this beginning of the year. Just go back to the beginning of the year and look at that video again. We are in that season, family. This is the season of valuing your time. This is the season to take accountability of your steps. I know some people thinking that, well, I'm up in age and my life is over. Your life is not over until you take your last breath. And we don't know the hour nor the moment, now do we? So therefore, there is still opportunity for you to grow. So there's a choice. Remember, God gives you two spiritual gifts. Number one, unconditionally love yourself. Because we teach those how that we should be treated. So if you're walking around numb, walk around frozen, we like to use those words instead of taking accountability. It's like, why don't you tell it, shame the devil, tell the truth. You don't know how to love yourself no more, because all the illustrations of what you thought was love were nothing but illusions. Look at that. Look at the common denominator and all those things that took place. Who was there? You. And who's not there? Them. This is not to bring shame into your life. This is to give you validation how blessed your life really is. And if anything, think of it in this note: the best is yet to come. Can't buy that in the store, family. You can't steal that. That is the true definition of what intimacy is. And what do I always say? What do I tell you, queens? Stop looking for a man. Because as long as you look for a man, you're going to attract Johns. That's right. I said it. Mm-hmm. See, a John don't care about what's inside here. He's trying to get inside there. And that ain't nothing but a little boy with tools. That's all that is. And y'all queens, y'all doing it too because you're taking your wounds and using that as a playbook, thinking, well, if he can do it, I'm going to do it twice as some. But who pay for it? You do. Why you think that vaginal rejuvenation is big business nowadays? You, if you saw the value of your life, you would also see the value of your money. Why have a stranger go in your secret garden to sculpt it when it should be untouched or earned? Hmm? But see, Sheila ain't gonna tell you that. But Sheila got a lot of stories to tell too, right? She got a lot of tricks too. But the one trick that Sheila don't have is the trick to change her heart to make it whole. Can't do that. So long as you keep looking for a man, you will never find the one. Mm-mm. He is spiritually earned. He's being prepared to take on his greatest responsibility, and that's your heart. Now, I done said enough. I'm about to wrap this up because, yes, I got stuff to do. Some of y'all may have realized, hey, this stuff look different. Yeah. Just as the earth moved and stuff, so did I. And I can't wait because I got some stuff I'm going to show you this next coming season. And you deserve it. You deserve it. But first, I got to pull things out of the boxes and get things situated because that's what a spiritual man does. So, lastly, my heart and prayers go out to you and your families and those who you hold dear that were affected. But let me ask you this. Are they praying? I'm not saying praying because of the fact that you asked them to pray, because praise also grows and they know that things happen in God's time. It's not man. And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. But what I find really ironic is this. There are countless people that lost everything. There was somebody that started a new job and ain't got no job now. There's somebody that bought a brand new car and is flooded out. There's somebody right now that had a home and everything's gone. Don't worry. What God has in store for you, the price will be paid. Just look at this as more or less spiritual sifting going on. And he's sifting all the rough edges off to make room for the things you rightfully deserve. And they're gonna come. But I'm gonna tell you what's not coming. If anything, the people that were standing in your way, blocking your view, standing in front of your progression, they're not gonna be there. And don't be afraid of that when it happens. But don't worry, because where you're going, happiness awaits. And don't worry about those people. Don't worry about them. Because people come into your life to be your lesson or your blessing. Did you hear me? So don't worry about that. And don't worry about what they're doing. Because then they're not going to tell you this. But they're going to be watching you grow. And that is a travesty by itself to have the opportunity. The greatest gift you can do is have the ability to watch somebody grow. You can't put a price on that, family. You can't. But you definitely feel it. No, you can't. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Don't trip on don't trip on what you don't have right now. Prepare for what you will. And it'll be better than what you could ever imagine. You know why? That's right. It's because you're priceless. Be blessed.